Hello and welcome, fellow bookworms and film fans. Welcome to this week's episode of The Contenter Narrative. We will be looking at The Ash House by Angharad Walker. I'm so sorry if I pronounced the first name wrong. Now, this, I don't even know. If you're looking for a book with a conclusion that makes sense, this is not the book for you. Basically, this child, and they are children, ends up at this sort of school where it's not actually a school, and it's all about learning niceness. Like, honesty is a niceness, dishonesty is not a niceness, and they change their names as well. So in the beginning of the book, at the front page, you've got sort of like their names and what they look like, and you've got it on the back as well, so it's got all of that there. And our main guy, oh, what is his name now? Genuinely forgot it. 1 second. Oh, for Pete's sake. It's okay. So our main character comes upon this house because he was having issues, and the hospital couldn't figure out what was going on. So he suddenly gets carted off to this school house thing, and then he promptly sort of forgets the majority of what happened before, like what his name is, who he is, where he's from, and everything like that. And it's just so bizarre. Like it's like these children can't get sick, because if they get sick, they disappear. They can't go beyond the fence, because if they go beyond the fence, they die. You know, they get a weekly phone call in from the headmaster telling them what they need to be doing that week, but then since this new guy arrives, they haven't been getting the weekly phone call, so it sort of sows distrust. And you've got girls there and boys there, and it's such a strange and weird little sort of like story. And it's interesting to see how, you know, it's like a Lord of the Flies kind of situation, where they're kind of left to fend for themselves, but they do a little bit better than they do in Lord of the Flies. Because they don't kill each other. That's, you know, they don't go completely crazy, because they've got their niceness, they've got their chores, they know what they should be doing, they pair off, they do everything together in pairs. And it's just, I mean, at one point, the main guy as well, he has an operation on his back, and he then is unable to walk. And it's like, what? But this is at a school, by the way. This is at a school. A doctor comes in, does an operation on the back, and then he can't walk. And so basically this guy's then like, right, okay, we need to figure out the truth of this school and everything. Are you with me? And obviously everyone's like, no, we're not. And even the best friend is like, nah, I'm good. Because the main guy, Freedom, and everyone calls him Dom. So you've got these things, and it's so strange. Like, as I said, like, as I got to the end of it, if you were looking for a conclusion that made sense, if you were looking for something that you could understand, this is not the book for you. But it is an interesting read. Like, I did kind of enjoy it, and I enjoyed the characters, and I enjoyed sort of like looking at how they interacted, and the house itself literally looks like it's made of ash, hence the name The Ash House. I mean, it's beautifully illustrated on the front, it really is. But it just, it's a bit like the, I'm gonna butcher it again, the Octonami one I did a few weeks ago. Whereas, you know, you're jumping into the story, and even though you're following this new character into the story, you feel like this story's been there for ages, and it's gonna still be there after you go. Whereas the Octonami one, I now know there is a second one coming out, and it's coming out December 2022. So if anybody loves me for Christmas, you're absolutely fine. But I mean, it gets a 3 out of 5 from me, because it is an enjoyable book. The characters are sort of well-rounded, and you've got to remember that they are children. So sometimes when they're reacting, not necessarily how you'd expect someone to react, like if someone, you know, turns up in the midst or whatever. I mean, at one point, I'm pretty sure they would try to sacrifice him or something, which was so weird. But you know, they react how children would react in those situations. But anyway, so, you know, I mean, if you want to give it a go, give it a go. It's quite a fun little read. It's nothing too sort of serious, even though, you know, the kids forget who they are. Libraries, Kindles, anything like that, you know, just have fun with it. And if you do enjoy it, please leave it below in the comments. If you understand it a bit better than I do, again, please leave it below in the comments. But thank you so much for your continued support, guys. And remember to always keep it content.